Hello.
Hello. We are about to dive into Game 4. The Giants now have a 2-1 lead and are on match point to lock in this match and the spot in the LCS. Very exciting for them. Very not so exciting, or also, but in the worst way for Splyce. Mithy, you wanted to look at Game 3, especially the comps that both teams ran and how they executed it, because it seemed like they didn't have a big grasp on the game.
I'm just, I'm not surprised by Giants comp. I think it's a very standard comp to run for them, but I was very surprised at Splyce's comp. I think it's very hard to pull off a 1-3-1 with Zed and Fizz against Azir. They don't really have the potential to dive mid, and they didn't really play around the Zed at all, and it just was, I don't think it was the right comp for them to pick.
This was the kind of comp Splyce would run in the start of the split, and they not 100% understand, what do we do outside of laning phase. The laning phase itself is simple enough, but once you get out and you play 1-3-1, where do we execute? Do we even have to go for kills? Because you don't, and they tried multiple times, and Zed lost a lot of pressure, even died twice for it. And then once you get to late game team fights against this comp here from Giants, the game is over. Like, if you ever have to defend, you lose.
Is that comp just too hard to execute, you think? Is that a wrong choice by the coach?
I mean, for me, I think the comp was fine. I think they made a lot of mistakes by just trying to fight a lot in the mid game. And also, I think for Splyce, it would be much better if they would actually have the laning phase off, because then they can rotate between the lane with Corki pressuring mid and then taking some additional turrets where Fizz and Zed pressure, is pressuring top and bot. So it was kind of weird that they lane swap and there was no turrets on the map, so they couldn't siege mid with Corki against Azir, and they were just kind of doomed after that.
Well, I repeat then, is it not too hard to execute? Because you say, no, they just made a lot of mistakes, but to me it seems...
I think it's too hard to execute for a team like Splyce.
Okay.
I think it's just about practice, honestly. Like, if you pick this comp, you must have practiced it, and 1-3-1 is not hard to execute. It just seemed super off. Sure, like Janko said, they didn't really have any towers to dive or any towers to pressure because of the lane swap, but they didn't even get... There was a point in the game towards 20 minutes or so, before Senko's got caught twice, that they didn't even put wards around topside for them to pressure Nash. So it just makes no sense.
It's just looking at all the games they played so far. It's not even about is the comp super difficult to play or not. It's just when they've been trying to play this before, they haven't been able to do it properly. Like, there were other times when they played early in the season where they put Zed into wrong lanes again and again and not play around it. So it's the same deal. They haven't clearly haven't learned that. I don't know if it's something surprising them in the pick and ban phase, because it seemed like this was all planned. Early pick Corki, so you can take Zed as a last pick and put Corki AD carry, and you have the magic damage coming from it, plus the Fizz top into Poppy, which they knew was going to be the first pick. So clearly this was all planned from Splyce. In game, once it gets to mid game, the shot calling just falls apart for the team, and even their simple things like where do we put our vision? Obviously around the lane with the guy who doesn't have teleport, because he's the guy you want to play around, and you can always TP in for flanking after. They just did the opposite.
All right, a matchup that we were keeping an eye on and will be important heading forward as well was Senkox versus Xpepi. Of course, Xpepi was the MVP of that series versus the Copenhagen Wolves. He has showed up. He's even forced them to pick away that Azir in those first two games. What have you made of the matchup so far, Mithy?
I think Senkox is falling short. I think Pepi is getting the upper hand on him in terms of pick and ban. He basically pulled off two good picks into Azir, forced him into another champ that wasn't Azir, because he basically showed him that he can't play Azir into Pepi, and now Pepi just plays Azir into Senkox, and Senkox just falls short with Zed. Even if he killed him 1v1, their team itself just didn't pressure around their side lanes enough, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, looks like that will be very important.
I mean, for me, for example, I feel like Splyce is giving too much space for Pepi, that he's playing kind of only poke champs. If they try ban out him a little bit more, if they wouldn't give him those Azir Zeraf picks, I think then Senkox, as the better assassin player, would just dominate the mid lane really hard.
Okay, I hear the players already. Quick prediction, does Giants take it here?
Splyce is on blue side now, so I think they can't ban out Pepi, because now Nidalee is going to be banned by Giants, Civ is going to be banned by Giants, and most likely
Short,
Lulu.
please.
If that happens in pick and ban phase, I think Splyce can take it to 5 games, but right now Giants have looked like the better team.
Giants.
Giants?
I think Splyce just goes for teamfight combat and they won.
Okay. We will see what happens. The players are ready, so let's kick it over to our casters and get into that game.
If they weren't already ready, they will be definitely now, because Deficio chose to rant for absolute ages, as we're used to know. At least Miffy kept it short. He says Giants.
That was nice of him.
Splyce for Yankox. I don't actually know what prediction Deficio said in the end. It's a lot of if and
just
buts
kinda
and
was
whys,
going-
and maybe if X and Y happen.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think Yankox is right. If they play team fight comp on the side of Splyce, I can see them take this game. Giants, I think they will need to reveal another top laner here, because they won't get Trundle and Poppy, I think. This will be early prio, or just double ban Trundle Poppy on the side from Splyce.
Yeah, the Trundle is banned away. The Varus is also taken off the board. As we saw game number 1, Peppy just doing quite a lot with it, and then Italy is banned by Giants. It really has been not challenging for Smitty J, though, and Splyce have got to start mixing things up if they want to make any member of Giants uncomfortable.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the matchup 1v1 at all. I had some comments on Twitter. It's like, what? Crepo thinks Fizz is bad into Poppy? So perhaps it is a winning matchup. It didn't seem that strong so far. Obviously, we didn't see it in the 1v1 early when the Ignite does pay dividends.
We'll never know.
We'll never know until we see it play out, and then even then we won't know because we need a larger sample size.
Of course.
So that's how
We need
it works.
significant stats for everything. So the Sivir banned away, of course, no brainer there. Giants have been sticking to their guns, and speaking of guns, they take Graves off the board on Splyce's side. And that leaves Giants with one more to ban away. So do you think they try to go for the Poppy first pick away? I don't really think so with Fiora still up.
Considering the way the series has went, I think they have to. I mean, what else is there? There's an early value on Corki that you could place for a flex.
Oh, and there's the Fiora ban.
Ban out. Yeah, this almost has to be Poppy first pick.
Yeah, so there we go. Poppy first pick again. We got 100%. And it's Wonderware that gets it this time. Splyce being on the blue side for the first time this series. Giants, of course, still leading the drive.
All
2-1.
Smitty J's champions from this split have been banned out. He played Trundle, banned. Graves, banned. Fiora, he banned himself. And his Poppy, his most played now, is taken away. So Smitty J will have to reveal at least one new addition to his champion pool.
At least one today, so he will be challenged a little bit. And they're taking their time about it. Still 30 seconds on the clock. They don't have to pick it up, of course, right now. He knows he'll be up against that Poppy.
Gragas Braum should be a good rotation here from Giants. Obviously, if you saw that, you were winning really hard with teamfight. Obviously, Nautilus is now back on the table, but I think getting the Braum here from this bet, who probably doesn't play Nautilus himself, is a good decision.
Well, you got one half, and we will keep on ticking the clock to find out if you are right. 3 seconds to tick down, and it's locked. Ah, Crepodamus again.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point.
Hey, easy predictions are still predictions.
So generally this is where Splyce answers with support and jungle, because both are revealed and both are really good, like, second rotation boost side. They could steal away the Corki if they want and flex it. Maybe put some pressure. Maybe the Lucian. It is possible. Generally, we don't see it, but Sunstar has had really good performances on that Lucian.
Yeah, especially last game.
And according to Monte Cristo on Twitter, it has been a staple from him as well over in Korea. So it's definitely a comfort champ, and maybe when things get on the line here, taking away comfort champs could be possible. If not, we should see like an Alistar Lee Sin, or an Alistar Elise is what we usually see.
Oh!
Surprisingly, he
got
wants to
Sejuani.
Sejuani. So heavy teamfight oriented. And
All right.
the Lucian gets stolen.
Yeah, and I like the Lucian takeaway, not just because it has been comfortable for Sunstar, but because it's also comfortable for Kabi. He's not had as much success on it. Let's be real there.
Yeah.
But it's still comfortable for him, and they have got some serious bashing potential.
Will we see the answer here? I wonder what the last pick is going to be. I think Corki Jin could be a good rotation here from Giants, so they leave the last pick, see what top laner fits really well into the equation. The blind Azir is obviously possible, but then we may see another Zed come out. But that would mean triple physical though. That's the one thing Splyce have done here. They don't have the magical component from getting the Corki by revealing the Lucian.
Giants knowing that too, you know, I think they can take this somewhat safely. They've also got exhaust, potentially double exhaust yet again if that Zed does get locked in for Senkux. And the Kalista, of course, with Braum. That's another very powerful combo that
I like Kalista more than Jin, but I think Sunstar's Kalista just hasn't been that great. So for Giants particularly, I was expecting the Jin here, given the context. For Skirmish though, and the ability to get that Braum in there, soak up damage, take him out, and throw him back in, Kalista is a strong pick.
We will have to see. So Splyce now taking their last pickups. We haven't seen Thresh this series at all, actually. Alistar is still available to combo with the Lucian yet again.
And now the bold decision is like, do you play for the winning matchup and the losing team comp? Or you just simply pick the Corki and have the losing matchup? It almost has to be.
Yeah.
Maybe a LeBlanc if you really want to get fancy.
Well, speaking of fancy. Oh, he does it! Oh, we got a Vel'Koz.
Damn it, I didn't predict the Vel'Koz mid. I'm a worthless call.
It's all right, man. I don't know. Very few people predict the Vel'Koz mid. The last time we saw that one in Europe, of course, it was Peppy playing it. That is going to be an interesting mid lane matchup.
All right. I think we need some pressure on Giants' side. If they go for normal lanes, they need something that can actually win the early duels.
I forgot about GP in all this craziness.
He does trade well early. Hustling.
He's having fun this game.
Going back to some of his older days. I think he was a Shaco player. Pretty sure.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
That
GP
kind of
wins
player.
trades early against Poppy with just continuous harass and then grass sustain. He can get dove though. That's what he needs to avoid. Poppy Sejuani diving him.
Yep.
But he can buy some time later on. And both teams, I mean, there's no split push here. There's no poke siege. This is just raw team fight on team fight.
We are in for some good old-fashioned bashings back and forth. Of course, the Thresh Lucian Wifesteal lane on that bottom side going up against Sonstar and Hustlin's Callista Braum. And
There is some poke from Vel'Koz.
there is, yeah, but if he gets caught, I mean, talk about being dove, man. That is hard to get away from. You've got no escapes. I mean, the Dade summoners are one thing, but he'll have to put on boots fast.
Yeah, get those distortion boots. Maximum value out of those summoners.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that Vel'Koz matchup plays out. Generally, the matchups that beat Azir are the ones that outrange him heavily, and Vel'Koz should be able to do that to some extent, or at least access the minion wave without being in soldier range or threat. It was the counter pick. They knew it was against the Azir. They needed some magic damage. Mato leans in. It's the handshake off. Potentially final game.
Potentially the last game we've got in this series. Splyce on the blue side elect to do something a little bit different. And why don't you guys at home tell us if you think it will be enough to even the series back up. Hashtag SpyWin. If the Vel'Koz Sejuani teamfight combo will be enough to take it, or hashtag Giants win. If they are, hashtag GIA win, I should say. If they're going to close this one out on the back of some impressive performance from this newer squad, we will have to find out. Splyce. Oh, man, this is... I'm looking at my chops already, Krepo. These are going to be some good fights as we load up onto Summoner's Rift.
Or we get a lane swap and nothing happens for 20 minutes.
Shh, don't jinx it.
I actually wonder if we'll see a lane swap here.
Yeah, there's a lane swap.
You don't know yet.
Damn it,
Also
Krepo.
be Australia lanes.
Not
They're
yet.
sending their bot lane early, top. Wonder why. Maybe they really want to dodge that GP into Poppy early. Or they just want to surprise with an invade, because Thresh Lucian beats Callista Braum pretty handily, I feel, in terms of pressure. They will never kill. They'll probably go even on CS.
That is true. But does Kabi Nisbeth beat Sonstar Hustling?
30 seconds until minions.
I mean, those two haven't been together that long, so we don't have as many data points together.
Yeah,
but still.
I still think they will beat him in terms of push and pressure. They can get ganked and die though.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that's very true. Talk about this mid lane, because Peppy and Sunkooks we kind of highlighted as being a very potentially explosive back and forth. And this is an interesting matchup, to say the least.
Look at the pings here. Giants saying, avoid those wards, walk into the lane. Giants, are they now... This is where I just wish we could talk to the coaches. Are they initiating a lane swap of their own or predicting the lane swap match? Because there are arguments to be made for every single case here. Hustlin.
He
He sees the dual lane, so he's not going to invade. And now he runs back to camp. Really good adaptation. He wants to stop the enemy jungle and obviously top laner, the duo jungle he wants to stop. Then he wants to see the duo lane. He knows that's not happening there on the other side of the map, and he goes back to the camp. Camp does make that matchup a little easier for Callista Braum if they get back in time.
That is always the question. But yeah, starting off in their respective camps, back to the mid lane, Senkux is able to push out against Peppy right now in the bottom lane. The Poppy Gangplank dueling is always a little rough for Poppy in the beginning. And Wonderware has been on the other side of Poppy matchups this series so far. I want to see what he makes of the Leordle.
Yeah, you see the approach here to the mid lane matchup. Of course, Power Spike level 2 first here.
Oh, the hook
That's
on his
big.
Sunstar. Instant exhaust. They have to spend a summoner just for that.
That means Sonstar and Hustlin were not respecting level 2 spike though. You know exactly when that's coming out and you know the distance. They were up too far in the lane. Luckily they're laning with exhaust, which we'll see. Nullifies that a little bit. They'll have to farm in their tower. Mild CS disadvantage. Won't result in any kills. Mid lane though, the approach is push over CS. When the first two waves hit tower, it was respectively 4 and 3 CS. So you're sacrificing creeps just for the sheer value of whoever pushes that lane. But once Peppy gets some levels, Senkux can no longer do what he did level 1, which is blow up the wave. So he'll be pressured in and have to learn how to CS with his tentacles.
Power of poke back and forth. So he hits level 3 as well. So I'll leave it up in that mid side for now. And as the knockup goes through, we switch back to the bottom side, where Smitty J is 1 level up on Wonderware.
Yeah.
His barrel's going.
That's what you do. So you zone him off. Every time he comes close, you cue him in the face, and then you put a barrel on top of yourself. That's threatening barrels.
Yep.
And yeah, you basically threaten him. If you ever walk into my range to trade, I will just explode a barrel in your face. It's imminent zone every time. Poppy can obviously try
Oh, clear it.
clear it. Also throw the buckler at it and get it reset, but
Grasply Undying comes in really handy for GP, though, being a little squishier on that side of it. Wisdom going through, moving from his jungle to the other, but he backs and
sees the Scuttle Crab. So Splyce rather, not Spy Girls. They're pushing and they're poking and they're whittling away. They want to eventually out-sustain, so they want to get all these potions off this ROM. And they have the safety, but look at Wisdom here. He pathed around the Scuttle Crab. Took time, body slams over the wall, but they should be able to generate a gank because there's no wards, because Splyce is relying on that Scuttle Crab to be plenty of vision. Wisdom's even respecting the possibility of having a river ward here. This could be a dead Nisbeth if he commits her to play. All they need to do is bait him out so he flays. I just got spotted.
here comes Wisdom. So Nisbeth and Kabi were separated. That was a respect flash there.
Yeah, this is tricky. As he moved up, he got spotted there. The outplay here is by Wisdom body slamming and not flashing, and basically saying, Kabi, you have to flash here. You have to respect the fact that I can body slam flash you. But those are minuscule outplays. I really like the body slam over the wall though, from Wisdom, circumvening that Scuttle Crab vision. But that obviously gives an experience edge to Trashy, who's continuously been farming.
Very true. You know, Trashy has had his ups and downs in the series so far. This time on the Sejuani, this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup. Sejuani is a champion that I feel like even when she's out of meta, which you could argue has been quite some time, she's never that far down the tier list.
Yeah,
Always
but she
quite available.
suffers from very predictable play patterns. She has maybe one gank opportunity, and even that one, it rarely pays off, so she kind of likes just farming to level 6. And that obviously can get punished because Gragas also has a window of opportunity to kind of get an opening. At level 6, she can be destructive in her ganks.
Wonder where and Smitty continue to trade it out down bottom, but you know, we talked about the mid matchup. We've talked about these two top laners for quite some time. I really want to focus though on the Koreans on the side of Giants, because these guys have really stepped it up big in the last couple of games. Obviously, they had some impressive performances, but we'll come back to that in a minute since Smitty's taken way too much poke here and Wisdom comes around the side. The bait was real. Speaking of Wisdom, Barrel comes out, pops him, doesn't have 6 though.
Yeah, he can't body slam in because of Steadfast Presence, and those Koreans exactly are the ones behind, because if you look at the gold, 8.3 versus 7.8 right now. So 500 gold down. That is sheerly coming from the CS.
Oh!
Jay.
Oh!
Smitty J.
Takes a hammer to him. Okay, that is a quick first blood.
All right.
Smitty not respecting.
Don't do that. Base of your tower. That's just straight up disrespect.
Yep.
Comes in, steal. Oh, it's getting worse for Wisdom.
Yep. He's definitely hurting for some farm. The flail's coming out.
I mean, you don't look at the CS, but the amount of big camps that he's down here, comparing experience, he is 4.4 on the level. Trashy is 5.6, approaching level 6 here once he gets done with the Krugs. So Trashy has a big, big experience lead overall. Level 6 versus 4 here, 2 levels ahead, 1.5 kind of.
Yeah. We're 800 gold difference right there, Giants. Starting out in a hole.
And this all comes from a failed gank. Like, trying to get around the Scuttle Grab cost him time, so he invested in a gank opportunity. It didn't work just quite well, and then he went for another gank here in the bot lane onto Wonderwear, and that cost him everything. And now this matchup is going to tilt slightly forward eventually to Wonderwear, because he's survived the rough part, and he got a kill to boot.
Smitty hasn't been popping his barrels the proper way. This time he gets a little bit of execution onto Wonderwear, so finally he starts returning fire, but Wonder has been incredibly quick-handed to take those down, and look at the damage he's dealing out into Smitty J.
See what he did though, he throws out his auto attack with the buckler, obviously E's and Q's right after just to connect all the damage, and he walks out short as possible in the trading departments, and there wasn't even any combat really to set up that grasp. And then as a return here, looking at the top lane, there was about a 20-25 CS differential between Sunstar and Kabe, but they have bridged the gap to just 10. They're at a really rough part of the matchup now though. BF Sword into just Vamp Scepter. It's a little less punishing obviously since the BF got a little cheaper. It's less strong. But obviously in terms of all-ins, you can just get blown up.
Kabi getting a little bit of damage onto Hustlin. He'll be able to heal a lot of that right back up. Sunstar has actually had a little bit more troubles this game in the 2v2. And it goes back to what you were talking about.
Start at level 1.
The Kalista, though, also not quite as strong. But you're right, the level 1 really is a significant factor in them not being able to get much going.
The difference here is that both AD carries are really strong at trading, but one has a range support, one has a melee support. So the range can obviously always chip away trade and poke, and melee supports are forced to play defensive, prevent all-ins, or go all-in themselves, but they can't really do these short trades where Thresh excels. Auto, flay, hook, thread here. Hudson has to walk up every time to block that hook, then he gets flayed, autoed, and now he's off HP. He gets poked out.
Fate's
His
call
goes down, and then they set up for maybe a jungle interaction dive here later. They always have the push pressure too. Maybe it doesn't result in a kill, but there's so much pressure on this bot lane and it can crumble at any time. Imagine if Trashy comes top here right now and they go for a play.
Oh, they get another hook. Not going in on that one, but he gets a double flay, and that prompts the Glacial Fissure. Exhaust onto Kabi. Cannon Barrage is down from downtown. And Trashy looks to come in maybe for a dive, but Kabi and Nisbeth are a little low now. Going for Hustlin', there's the flash.
Oh, Hustlin'!
Oh, the Glacial Prison misses. Hustlin' gets away from this one, and now it's Trashy who's in trouble, but he takes the Lantern to freedom.
Yeah, fantastic play there. Really good flash from Hustlin', and Trashy is not having the greatest series. This is... You're having your mute button pressed, Pyra. Say that again.
Mental fortitude required.
Pyra was drinking from his tea.
Thanks for letting me know.
And then suddenly the voice went...
Yeah. I do that sometimes. Wonder and Smitty. Wonder's a little bit low on this one because he disrespected the tower.
Yeah, as long as you don't press my mute button,
No,
I'll start.
did that to Kobe once.
And me.
You're right, I had the wrong one both times.
Oh!
Oh, okay, Wonderwear!
Oh, and he gets the BM Buckler. He finishes the kill. Obviously, Poppy's melee auto attack becomes ranged once the passive comes up. And if he kills the target, the Buckler returns immediately to yourself. You no longer have to pick it up. That shield was enough. This is ultra BM play. Just fantastic Poppy play from Wonderwear.
Yeah. You know, I thought the GP matchup would be a little bit better, but Wonder is showing Smitty J up.
If you base in front of a brush and you give Poppy a kill,
yeah,
perhaps not the wisest of decisions.
Disrespect, man. You can't afford to do it. Unless you're Wonderwear for this game, apparently. Trashy moves to take out a red on the opposite side of the map.
Especially with these Sheen trades, too. Just it makes that short trade potential for Poppy so much stronger.
Yeah.
Whoever's winning gets the most value out of their Sheen, obviously.
Oh,
Again, a very obvious statement, but...
Hey, still holds true. Trashy looks like he moves back up into the topside jungle. Could try to set up another dive.
Yeah.
Now the cooldowns have reset. Close enough, too.
You have to take the Lantern of Shame. When you E-flash, miss, ulti, miss, you're stuck under the tower, you know, it's... You get to reflect on what you've done wrong in the jungle corner for like a minute and a half, wait for your ulti. And you need to see if you're up for the task of trying it again, because continuous pressure from this 2v2 lane in the top lane. 25, 30 CS up right now, and the tower on half HP.
No, Trashy won't be spotted, but he's not going in for it this time, and now they play Hustlin' back again. Glacial Fissure pops up Nisbeth, and they Fates call Hustlin' in, but he has to go right on back, and he's down. Kabi gets the kill credit, and a pair of teleports after the fact, mean a double kill for Kabi. Smitty J here to defend, but against 3 members of Splyce, what can he do with the barrels? Just trying to clear him away, and he has to run back. That'll be a tower on top of it.
Yeah, this is Calm Force. They're too low resources overall. They're not at a point to fight. Look at the build differential here. Going into this fight, there was a BF sword and a Call Fierce Warhammer, as opposed to a Cutlass on the Kalista, trading 2v2.
Yeah.
You don't have the burst potential if you're Sunstar and Hustlin'. And this is why we like to kind of see the Jhin, because he seems much more aware of his skill potential on that Jhin. They started to play themselves, they got counter-ganked, they were not aware of where the jungle was. And they were hoping that the Cannon Barrage was enough to kind of fill whatever they needed in terms of damage. They get hooked here. Let's watch this again. They're also engaging on this belt, which still has Flash. He flashes out here. They take the full culling, and I think Trashy comes in. Even if Trashy wasn't there, I think that would have been at least a support for support trade and a waste of TP. So
yeah. Once again, questionable decisions. You know, we saw Giants have had these crisp games, and then individually they've started falling apart in all these other games, and Splyce taking advantage in this early stages to get themselves a 3,000 gold lead and a tower.
It is an indication, though, of solo queue synergy. When you fight the same way, regardless of what items you're on, you always just say, like, this play is good, we catch support, we go all in, we use our CC to layer them. But you have to respect the fact that you are so much AD down. Like, if you compare the raw amount of AD, 153 here on the Lucian, 120 only
Trashy's gone in.
Kalista.
Oh, Geometry hitting Sonstar in the back of the head, and he knows his day is done. Kabi 3-0 on the Lucian. Meanwhile, Wonder trying to deal with Smitty and Wisdom, but he doesn't have enough of a health bar for that, or does he? Barrels will knock him down, and Wisdom finishes him off.
Yeah, but it's another tier 1 tower traded here. Sanctus has to go back to the mid lane. No more ghosts available. Complete river and deep vision control though on the side of Splyce. They're really picking their battles wisely. A lot more skirmish oriented, making it count.
Now, Hustlin will take the Tectonic Disruption and tank it up to finish for Peppy, who then puts an immediate Sundisk down, and Senkook's a little bit low in this one, but he's got backup.
Yeah, the map's divided half and half right now. Left side for Giants, right side for Splyce. Blue buff to Peppy. 3,000 gold lead though at 13 minutes, that's big.
Yeah, that's starting to get even bigger. And the mid lane marquee matchup has really not been all that exciting since it has been a farm fest and both teams just rotating around onto the top and bottom sides. Giants will take the moment to grab themselves a Rift Herald.
Yeah, it does show you the value from that Lucian steal though. We were debating second rotation blue side. Picks 2 and 3, what it's going to be. We expected support jungle, and it was the Lucian coming out. Early pressure on Sunstar's champion pool. He did not opt in for the Jhin, and he's struggling on this system.
Very true. Well, and Giants seem to be struggling in standard lanes. I mean, this is the second game we've seen them fall behind in this series where there have been standard lane setups. The 2 lane swaps executed better, and they won those.
Yeah, they did fall behind, I think. One of them, Splyce, about 1,000 gold, but it was enough to slow down Splyce's 1-3-1.
The execution at the end of the day has been better in those situations, but anything could change as Peppy is a hair's breadth away from being imprisoned.
Yeah, and another Azir early picked and counter picked. So Europe at least is showing some answers to this early Azir pick.
Yeah, it's not all Shurima all the time, but for Peppy, he has been prioritizing it when he can get his hands on it, still showing some impressive play. But the counters, they keep on coming. Crab is hooked in by Nisbeth, and Trashy will eventually take that one down if he doesn't stop.
Always good for the confidence, you know, landing that hook. Yeah, Crab.
It's a moving target. It's hard to hit.
All right, I want to see a Mad Life here. Predictive.
Oh, not yet. Buckler throw.
Yeah, Wunderwear did you should always pop W first, then Ian. So, because then maybe you clip him. So little things. Movement speed increase here.
Knock a few points off his grade point average.
Yeah, he's doing fine. You can say GPA.
Hey, okay. Now they're firing on the mid, but Wisdom's still here around the other side. With Peppy, they've got enough wave clear to really be able to stop this push, and that does mean Splyce will turn their attention towards the Dragons to be the first one of the game. We haven't seen too many Dragons contested.
Nah, it's been like 1-1, 2-1 in most mid games here. It takes a while. If you're not lane swap, the thing is, when we saw some of these 5 Dragons earlier in the season was when we had lane swaps not being mirrored, Dragon being taken, and teams not punishing that with a good Rift Herald push. Because the loss of tempo you get by taking a Dragon is just too big, and teams have really learned that an early Dragon isn't the right approach to take in a lane swap, and in standard lanes, nobody ever gets to it because it's just not worth enough. So the first Dragon is so late that nobody really plays for 5 Dragons.
All right. Good lecture on that one. So I want to bring your attention to the double pink warding that was just being cleared up by Nisbeth. What do you make of that one?
Just waste some time. It's only efficient when you play against Jhin.
Yeah.
Because you'll tilt him for life. Because he has
or Graves.
Yeah, or Graves. Wunderwear though.
Speaking of being in trouble, he's knocked sideways, pinballed, but Smitty J tanks the tower. They don't have any more minions back up there. And Wunderwear walks out with his life.
Yup. Uses his flash to get the Dragon's exploding cast escape vessel. That does mean that Wisdom must have used an all-attack or a spell in between ER, because if you ER perfectly, there is no room for fun.
Yeah. Instead, he tilted Wunderwear in a good way.
Yep.
Back towards his tower.
Straight to the base. But they do isolate the tower. That one goes down.
That's 2-2. Giants answer back. They're still in the gold hole, though. Unfortunately, still 2,000 gold down. And
The gold hole?
yeah.
That's what we call it. All right.
Yeah. You feel free to invent your own things. It's fine.
I love
I'll
the
coin
gold hole,
phrases,
man.
though.
They're 1.7k down in the gold hole right now. They're struggling. They have some possibilities to win late game team fights. GP and Azir can literally 2v5 late game team fights with the combination of their ultis and continuous damage output. Splyce have a good wombo though. Flying from Wunderwear with his steadfast presence to prevent any of these Azir shuffles, Kalista hops. He can shut down the backline single-handedly, and then Sankix and Trashy can just unleash with massive AoE damage. Look at the potential you have in that. Trashy just connects a knock-up and then gets Glacial Prison off, and then lose the life form disintegration ray. I totally did not read that.
Yep.
That's the Senkuk's, the Vel'Koz ulti for people
Second
wondering.
hardest ultimate to read out after Urgot's hyperkinetic position reverser.
LFDR.
For those of you wondering, yeah.
I'll just call it LFDR.
I don't even acronym it, but Trashy in the moment is actually in a little bit of trouble himself. Flashes, and there is his ultimate. The Glacial Prison knocked back in, and Smitty J parlays him down for his first kill of the game. The thing about Trashy, everything he's done on this champion as per its nature has been telegraphed, and that's the trouble. That's where Giants can answer.
Yeah, they punished him again. The good thing about Trashy so far, despite many mistakes, is he's not afraid of going aggressive. The bad thing for Trashy is, despite many mistakes, he is still not afraid to go aggressive. And it cost him his life.
And Trashy, yeah, cost him his life, cost him his flash. He's still having a hard time this game. If you can nail an ultimate combo, Splyce are in excellent position to fight it out. But I do worry for contesting objectives. I mean, look at this Giant side. They've got Nazir, they've got a Gangplank, they've got a Kalista. That is a hell of a lot of damage to take down objectives.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, but it's very prone to Splyce. So deep vision is paramount for Splyce. They need to get wards behind the Giants lineup. If you run it on a Nazir Kalista, yeah, you will get killed. But if you get one guy in the backside or the flank here, like Wonderwear coming in.
Yep, Smitty is down. Braum ulti a little bit too late for that one, and he's bopped right back on up from the Keeper's Verdict. Nisbeth and Wonderwear can walk right out of that one, and they grab themselves another turret.
Yeah, get another tower. They were too afraid to commit to the Braum kill. In the end, it's just the life of a support. Doesn't really matter that much. Just some gold. Mid lane falls too, it seems.
Looking
Or
for
is
an
under
inhibitor.
siege. Yeah, look at where Sunstar and Wisdom are on the map. The two Koreans are doing Gromp and pushing tier 1 bot while the base is under siege.
Definitely some miscommunication there. And Wonderwear will get the Lantern yoink right back to safety, and they do some serious work on the tower. It will start regenning, but slow. And Splyce, for the moment, own this top side of the map. They are, however, backing on a ward.
Yeah, back down a ward. They layered some vision though.
Oh, they've
Wisdom.
knocked Wonderwear right in. Steadfast presence, he goes back into the hustling, and he's actually taken quite low. Trashy comes in for the re-engage, and a teleport comes out, and Wonderwear once again yanked to freedom. And life form disintegration is Senkuk's. He grabs himself Smitty J. Not standing up to that one. And Hustlin nearly ate it too.
Yeah, Pepinero now goes down. He
Oh, he's
knocked,
caught!
grabbed, he's dead. The problem with the engage there from Giants is it's a beautiful pick-off, but if no Sunstar or Pepinero are not present, either of them, there's just simply not enough damage to finish it off immediately. Sunstar is there right now. His counterpart Kobe is finding the remains of the Gromp, so he is pushing down the bot lane. Finally sets his eyes on tier 2 tower. Tier 1 tower mid lane goes down 2 on the side of Splyce. Splyce taking absolute control of this game.
The series has been ping pong back and forth. One game, one game,
Knock,
one
knock.
game, and Wisdom, knock, knock, who's there? A dead Gragas as Trashy gets the kill for that one, and Kabi gets another tower. 21 minutes, it started to spiral out of control, but a Fate's Call knocks in Kabi, and he's got no backup for now. See if he can save his own life, and he calls the wrong way, unfortunately, but they've got enough damage to take him out anyways. Sunstar too low, and he's pinned by Wonderwear, taken out. Another kill for the Poppy, 4-1 and 2. Revenge killing, it looks like might happen, but Wonderwear gets the knockup, and Hustlin is down. In comes Trashy again. They look for Smitty. The double kill for Senkuk's. And all of a sudden, Giants back into their own base. Emperor's Divide, but Peppy's caught. Goes in, and that's the ace. Kabi gets it. That's going to be inhibitors.
Wonderwear is playing like an absolute madman this game. The things he's doing on this poppy pick makes you wonder why did Splyce not try to ban it out themselves or pick it up somehow with some squeezing in the pick and bans, because that was a fantastic play. He actually used his ultimate to buy time, knock up 2 people, and get the Lantern out of that fight. And it all started with that greedy back from Smitty J at the start. He launched Wonderwear inability to carry this game.
Peppy does not look happy in that player cam. Of course, we saw Yamato can. It's always a good day when we get more Yamato gifts.
And we got double Peppy. 2 Peppys, por favor. But
I need 2 of them in this game.
They need to calm down though, because this is just a learning game. At this point, if your emotions getting this much affected, it may be wiser to just forfeit and just keep your calm and reset for the last game.
Yeah.
Kobe is getting engaged on here. I like this opportunity here. Giants not afraid to go aggressive. Again, the main way they've won this series so far is by going aggressive. Yes, then obviously the cost of this play is that you get triple knocked up. Wonderwear here. Look at how low he goes and how he uses his ultimate to stay alive here. He dodges some of the soldier damage that gets put on him by knocking the Grom into the wall. And then he gets enough time to click the Lantern by using his ultimate.
Yep. And we're right back into the fights here. Sunstar has pulled in Hustlin. But he goes back.
Difficulty.
And now Trashy looking to chase them all down the line. Disintegration from Senkux. And he gets himself a quick double kill on the back of that. Giants have lost 3. And the rest are hurting.
If there's ever an answer to a full teamfight comp, it has to be Sejuani Vel'Koz. The damage from that combo is absolutely disgusting in these fights where Giants are just slightly down. So that means they're on the back foot positioning-wise. Giants have only gotten 2 kills this entire game.
And they don't look like they're on track to pick up any more. Down more than 10,000 gold here. Senkux and crew are looking to lock up the win, to tie up the series, take it to game number 5. The bounce back continues. One Nexus turret falls. Smitty and Hustling valiantly trying to hold it, but Wonderwear will make sure it won't be for long. He's out and about. The rest of Splyce still holding firm here. Wisdom trying to hang, but Sunstar's down. Smitty's hooked. Smitty's popped. Nisbeth with another massive Mad Life hook, and the Nexus will fall. 24 minutes, and Splyce are back on the board.
And as always, when we expect a quick 3-0 sweep,
We don't get it.
it goes full 5 games. They have been entertaining though. Pretty short games. Another 24-minute game here overall. Just very teamfight oriented. I like it. Bloodbaths.
You can see the emotion on Pepe's face, though. I mean, you have to be careful. As the Koreans would say, don't let it break your mental.
Yeah.
Still, the next game, everything counts. You're back to a best of 1. And they've got some thinking to do.
Yeah, this is where, because it affects yourself, but it also affects your teammates, and that is the biggest problem. You really want to keep spirits high there, because in a team environment where communication likely is already struggling, talking like positively and calmly instigates more communication. Like if I'm not talking, my teammates are less likely to start contributing what they may deem as trivial information, and then suddenly some missed calls don't get there. Maybe you didn't call it a ward, you don't repeat how you want to gank, and people start going into the zone of autopilot. And that's dangerous for a best of 5 final game where momentum and mental fortitude means everything.
Exactly. And for a team that we already know may have some communication issues, we had heard that maybe they're not really talking together at the way they were thrown together in a roster. You have to wonder if they have a way to fall back and, pick up the pieces, because you're still 1 game away from LCS. Just 1. But after a loss like that, it's hard.
Yeah, just go outside, find a way to relieve some stress.
At least it's a nice day out there.
was doing there.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. All right, we're going to let analysts take a look at that game as we look forward towards G5.
G5.
Go outside. That's dangerous. I don't know what he's saying there. In any case, yeah, they do need to regroup. And Jankos, you actually came on the desk and said, well, they should pick a team fight comp, and that is exactly what they did. The Prophet.
It was pretty easy, I guess.
So how do you think they executed it in the end?
Oh, I think they kind of destroyed the lanes, so there was not a lot of team fights left, but they played it pretty well, I think. Also, Sejuani into Gragas is pretty good in terms of team fights as well. So overall, I think they played it well. I mean, so basically, Gragas outsells every jungler in the game right now. Maybe except for Sejuani, but still a little bit. So what happens, you want to you just want to farm up a bit early game, and then Gragas still kind of destroys you early game, but at some point you became even. And then in teamfight you can do more if you play it correctly. Obviously, Gragas E-Flash is kind of OP, but except for it, your ult is better on Sejuani side. So it's probably like, if you want teamfight comp and the enemy picks Gragas, if you still want to outscale them, if you want team comp, you just have to go for Sejuani, unless it's not Udyr, which is nerf dispatch. So.
And what jungle item do you prefer? Just for everyone at home, if you want to play Sejuani, 6.5, which is the pack we're playing on now, and then of course 6.6.
I mean, for 6.5, it was obviously the AP item. And right now in 6.6, which is the solo queue patch for you guys, I still would go for the AP item. Just because it gives you, like, you can just one-shot the camps. You can farm so fast, the movement speed is pretty OP. And then the Cinderhawk just doesn't provide you that much lately. I mean, you farm so slow, and then you're a bit more tanky, but you have less damage. I just basically go AP on every champ, even if it's tank right now. So.
Okay, noted. Mithy, you were looking at the top lane matchup a bit in this one. I do believe it was you, or maybe it was the official.
2v2 matchup.
Top lane or 2v2
on top there.
matchup?
2v2 matchup.
2v2. Yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 matchup. I think it's a skill matchup. The Brown Kalista have to play very careful, because if they screw up, they can get really punished by Thresh Lucian. But in general, I think the Brown Kalista, so Giants just played the matchup not well enough. They took too many bad trades, tried to force too hard with the GP ult, and it just didn't work out for them at all.
What do you think about Thresh as a support? Because we've seen some support players who stop playing it and some still pick it almost every game.
I kind of just stopped playing it. I mean, I do play it sometimes, but I'm not like a one-trick pony anymore. I really like kind of just stopped losing the thing I had for Thresh. I just feel like he's a jack of all trades but a master of none. I feel like sometimes he is good, but he's not good enough, and he's never useless, but very close to useless sometimes, and I just don't really like it. I think you have to be really, really, really good at it, like maybe Kazing, for it to make it work.
Do you think in the scenario it has something to do with promotion tournament, a lot of stress, just going for something that you think you'll do good on as opposed to something that will work perfectly in the meta? I know we saw Vel'Koz as well.
I mean, a lot of it is probably comfort picks when you sit in these tight games where you have to win, but in this game as well, it was very easy, I feel, for Splyce in the pick and ban phase because they're on blue side now. It's just like first pick Poppy, and obviously the Fjord was already banned away, so Smitty J doesn't seem to have really an answer because he tried to go GP, which is a fine matchup into Poppy, but he didn't play it very well. Lost lane, died twice, I think.
He screwed up hard.
Lane. Yeah, he messed up like big. He was recalling at like level 4 or 5 next to a bush, probably shopping at the same time, so it didn't even flash when he actually ended up dying. And those kind of mistakes, they will tilt you completely, and you can't make those mistakes.
Especially in such a high-pressure game. That's what I was talking about earlier, about having good mental strength. He really needs to pick it up for next game.
Yep. Uncles.
I guess he's not experienced enough yet, but I think with some experience he will be good. And also I think just Poppy outscales him so hard after the first kill.
Yeah.
And the second kill looked so great as well. But he threw the shield, you know,
Oh.
it came back to him. Oh.
Got there.
Yeah.
It was a good teamfight comp,
Yeah.
and Splyce are blue side again now for next game, so technically they can aim for somewhat the same. The bans for Giants were Nidalee, Sivir, and Fiora. Nidalee, Sivir will most likely be bans again because they are so high tier picks right now, and Giants haven't showed they play the Sivir. The last one, Fiora, is where I guess you can debate, do you want to maybe ban Poppy, give over Fiora, do you want to ban something else there? It's a tricky one for Giants because it's probably going to be teamfight comp versus teamfight comp again.
Yep, we will take a quick break, although you have something.
I was thinking that maybe Giants should just play open cards and just open every OP pick, and then maybe they can trade some, you know. But that's a little bit like, that's super ballsy, so I'm not sure about that.
Oh.
It's a hard call. 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 and just go all in, you know,
Yeah.
with balls.
Go ham.
Go.
Well, I hope that happens
But
from my
it's
part.
so important game to lose.
Yeah.
Like that.
Pretty glad these guys are not my coaches. I guess
Let's go all in.
could maybe try that. I'm not really too sure.
I would go for comfort picks and try and ban out whatever disrupts my comfort picks and just try my best, try the best champ I got, you know, just give it my best, even if the comp doesn't really fit together or anything, and just give it my best for the last game I might be playing in the LCS.
The SOAS strategy. In any case, we're going to take a quick break. It's all come down to a single game to decide the series between Splyce and Giants. Stay right there. The final fight is coming your way in just a few minutes.
Fate's Call hustling in, but he has to go right on back and he's down. Kami gets the kill credit and a pair of teleports after the fact.
Or the flank here, like Wonderware coming in.
Yep, Smitty is down. Wonderware gets the knockup and Hustling is down. In comes Trashy again. They look for Smitty. The double kill for Sentcox. And all of a sudden, Giants back into their own base. Emperor's Divide, but Peppy's caught. Goes in, and that's the ace. Nisbeth with another massive Mad Life hook, and the Nexus will fall. 24 minutes, and Splyce are back on the board.